The United States government is engaged in an active cover-up of the largest trafficking scandal and influence peddling scandal in the history of the United States, and Donald Trump is right at the center of it.
As members of Congress with a conscience seize their opportunity today for a look at the unredacted Epstein files, well, last night, pedo dragon slayer Republican Representative Thomas Massie joined Donald Trump's favorite news anchor for this morning's featured story. Welcome to Occupy Democrats, and please hit that subscribe button. Well, if you think this guy is the biggest jack in the world.
The Olsen twins. Why is every guy in America waiting for these chicks to turn 18? I mean, you know what I say? If there's grass on the field, play ball!
What a guy, huh? Okay, well, it does set up our featured story of the day, because late last night, Thomas Massie joined Caitlin Collins on CNN to call out Donald Trump's Department of Justice live on the air. Well, you see this. The Republican representative from Kentucky, well, he certainly found himself here in the center of this cover-up storm. Fortunately for the victims and for those who are committed to exposing the truth behind this institutional evil, Massie has been relentless and is not to be trifled with. For example, found this earlier today. Get a load of this.
I'm going to say this here on camera because it's important. One of Kash Patel's staff threatened my staff with a criminal investigation if we didn't straighten up and play ball.
I was going to ask you about that, but since you brought it up, and I didn't
I'm bringing it up.
Okay, you brought it up.
And so, like a criminal investigation having nothing to do, he said it was going to be a fraud. We're going to investigate one of your staff for fraud. Right. And he told another one of my staff this. If you guys don't straighten up, if you want to play hardball, if this is how you want to play it or something like that, this member of your staff is going to get criminally investigated for fraud. A very specific threat.
In our featured story of the day, Republican Representative from Kentucky, Thomas Massie, joined Caitlin Collins on CNN last night for an absolutely stunning exchange. Well, you see this. Earlier in the day, well, Massie set the tone as he was flanked by the other member of this dynamic duo, Ro Khanna. They're bent on justice, and they faced the press after a secure viewing of the files made available unredacted by the Department of Justice. There's never been a more appropriate example of that old saw, oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. Take it away, boys.
Look, there's some of the effort, because there were a lot of career attorneys on there. There's some redactions that were appropriate, some, for protect the survivors. And some of the most sensational things out on the internet, there may have been appropriate redactions. So, for Thomas and me, it's always been about the facts. And our biggest concern is what was redacted before it even came to the Justice Department. I mean, the reality is that the most important things, the 302 files and some of the information on the prosecution memos, it's unclear that those redactions happened here. We saw a lot of files that already were redacted. And then, of course, they have been protecting some of these men. Maybe it was not intentionally, but the law is very clear. They need to comply with the law.
And finally, the documents that they put up and decided for one reason or another they had to take back down, I was hoping to see those here. They didn't appear to be in the database that we were able to search. For those ostensibly are wholly redacted files now. We know they exist. They published them for a brief period of time and pulled them back. They need to answer to us as to do they intend to redact those files and put them back up and put them in the database so that we can search them and see if it was appropriate to take them back down from the web.
Okay, here we go. It's our featured clip of the day from late last night on CNN. Caitlin Collins sat down with Thomas Massie, and as we are about to see, he went right after Donald Trump and his enablers.
An example of something, maybe it wasn't intentional on their part. I'd like to hear his take on the redaction of the CEO, who's listed as a co-conspirator in the 2019 child sex trafficking case.
So can I ask you, because, and I want to ask if this is the same person, Todd Blanche also said about that tonight that the document you're citing there has victim names in it.
Correct.
Seeming to say that's why there are redactions. He said, we have just unredacted Les Wexner's name from this document, but his name already appears in the file thousands of other times. And he says the Justice Department is hiding nothing. Is that the retired CEO that you're referencing?
It is.
he unredacted it after I found it. That's a problem. And I'm glad they've admitted they made a mistake by redacting that.
So you're saying it was redacted when you went in there today, and after you tweeted that, they unredacted it?
Correct. Now he's got 4 other names he needs to unredact. Did he respond to that? There's a list of 20 people. And there's 4 men in there that need to be unredacted. Here's another troubling thing that I found.
Can you say who those 4 men are tonight?
I don't think they're well known, and so if I did, it wouldn't matter, but I could probably say them on the floor of the House. But I'll give the DOJ a chance to do what they did in these 2 examples, where I've discovered something and now they've responded.
Now, we certainly know Donald is no fan of Caitlin Collins.
You know, she's a young woman. I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile on your face.
I'm asking you about survivors.
You know why?
of Jeffrey
You know why you're
Epstein,
not
Mr.
smiling? Because you know you're not telling the truth.
But we do know that there's one thing that would certainly put a smile on her face and mine and yours. So please like, share, and by all means do take care.